yours. Natasha has 12 plus years of experience in digital marketing and advertising. She got her start working with travel and hospitality brands and has run online advertising campaigns for industry giants such as Marriott's, the Hilton, and the Breakers Palm Beach. Now, she has developed and launched successful online measurement campaigns for several multinational brands, including Pepsi Cola. Yes, everybody drinks Pepsi, or they know who they are, right? In addition to that, I'm not even going to try to, Anheuser-Busch and Rogers Media. She has managed over $2 million in advertising budget and has generated over $18 million and counting for companies ranging from small to multinational. Now, web analytics and campaign optimization are her superpowers. I'm telling you, this girl can run some analytics and find out all the bees needs. So, that's what she do. Currently, Natasha runs and operates Kenol Marketing, a digital agency specializing in helping purpose-driven brands grow their sales using digital marketing and paid ads. Based in New York, when she's not building strategies and optimizing ads, Natasha can probably be found exploring the city, traveling and learning about other cultures and doing what she does best, trying new exotic foods, because that's what she likes to do, okay? So when I tell you this lady here is all on top of the ads and all the things that we've been discussing in the 6 sessions prior to this is all getting you ready for running ads. And so she is going to dive into it. So some of this may sound a little familiar, but she's going to take it to the next level and she's going to get you ready for your ads itself. So you can run ads like the Marriott and Hilton and the Breakers Palm Beach, and multinational. All right. I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to be watching the comments. So if you have any aha moments, any questions, drop them in the comments. I'll be able to relay them to you and keep our conversation flowing. And by all means.
Ooh, thank you, Miss Monica. I am excited to be here. I feel special because I have the honor of closing out the summit. Hopefully it's a good one. And like Monica shared, really advertising, right, is once you have all of those other building blocks in place. So it's perfect that we are finishing with that. So I will be sharing my screen in a moment. I have some slides for everybody.
Yeah, and this comes at perfect timing because we talked about personal financing, we talked about business financing, because if your personal financing ain't together, it makes it difficult for you to have business financing. When your business financing is together, you're in a position to be able to do ads. And so this is all perfect and interworking together. Even the session we had earlier today, where we talked a little bit about vision casting and getting clarity with your brand and pictures, all those things are able to kind of pull in together and lead us to be ready for this digital advertising. I figured I would just fill in the space while you maneuver the technology. Yes. You know how it works. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you. So without further ado, I want to just go over quickly what we're going to cover today. So in this workshop, you'll learn how to grow your sales online using Facebook ads without needing a super large advertising budget. You don't need a Pepsi budget or anything like that. We're going to start where you are. So I'm going to break down 3 things where you should start when it comes to running ads. So that's kind of like my number 1 question, like where should I even start? I have no idea. Number 2, the different ad strategies that you should be using to increase your leads and sales. And lastly, how much you need to spend, right? So we're always like, well, how much budget do I really need to run my ads so it's successful and I can see results from it? So we'll go over how you can figure that out. So does this sound like you're interested in running ads, but you don't know where to start? You're confused on what types of ads to run, right? Boosted, images, videos, etc. You're not sure how much money you need to spend. and you're tired of Googling everything, if it sounds like you, then you're definitely in the right place. Also, don't worry if you're new to the digital marketing space. You don't need to be an expert for what I'm going to teach today. Don't worry, again, if you don't have a big advertising budget. Don't worry if you've never run ads before, you've never even logged into Ads Manager, you don't even know what it looks like. That's all good. And if you're overwhelmed by all the tricks, and tips and whatever, all good. I'm definitely going to break down some of the foundational stuff here today. And also, don't worry if you're not tech savvy. You don't need to be tech savvy to be able to run profitable, successful ads. Now, I just want to quickly give you a little bit. Miss Monica did a very good job of giving some background. But just to add a little bit of layers, I started my career in digital marketing my last senior year of college. And then from there, I got a full-time role, and I've kind of been in this space ever since, right? So I've been able to work with the big brands, the smaller brands, etc. But I would say after a lot of years in corporate America and working at different agencies, I really felt undervalued, underpaid, unappreciated, just all the things. And so I decided, first, I went back to school to get my MBA. And second, I started Kenol Marketing, which is my advertising company. On the side, I side hustled for 2 years and then went full time in 2020 because I really felt like I wanted to take my skills and talent where it would be appreciated, and also where people look like me, right? So really, my mission is to help diverse founders and entrepreneurs to achieve more economic opportunities. So with all that being said, are you ready to get started? Okay. If you're ready, clap in the chat. Let's go. So some terms that you need to know if you want to screenshot this so that we're all on the same page, because sometimes I know us industry experts, right? We tend to talk in jargon, and not everyone always knows what we're talking about. So I try to level out the playing field. So these are just a few terms. I'll run through them super quickly because I don't want to bore you, but you'll hear me say these things while we're going through the workshop. So the ad funnel, or AKA sales funnel, marketing funnel, we're going to talk about that today, but that's your customer's journey from the first time they interact with your business all the way to purchase. So just like you would do with social media marketing, advertising also utilizes a marketing funnel, a sales funnel. It all really means the same thing. And what we're going to review today is your ad strategy. So that's the exact plan that you're going to use to make people go from potential customer, right, all the way to actual customer. A conversion is also synonymous with lead or sale. And we talk about this a lot, which is a freebie opt-in lead magnet. So that's typically a free PDF guide, or sometimes in my case, an email series, something free that kind of lets your customer learn more about you, how you can help them, right? ROAS, return on advertising spend, and return on investment. So just some marketing terms. Now, key number one, the first step to a successful ad campaign is planning out your ad strategy. That's step number one. So when you're like, I don't know where to start, Natasha, it seems like it's too much. The first step is let's figure out the ad strategy. So let's figure out how to get somebody to know you through this buying journey, and then get them down to liking you and trusting you so they do make a purchase decision, right? So how do you do that exactly? Let's get practical. So here are 5 elements of your ad strategy. So these are 5 elements that you want to make sure to have in your plan so that you can make consistent leads and sales when it comes to ads. So I call it the sale system. It's easy to remember, right? It's just a double A. So SAALE, the sales system write it down, is what you need in order to start planning your ad strategy. So the S, selling, is what is your offer? What are we promoting? Audience targeting, who are your ideal clients? So we need to figure out, maybe you have 3 ideal clients, maybe you have 2. We need to figure that out. Your ad creative, ad copy. Do your ads and messaging, right, the writing in the ad resonate with your ideal customers and audience? Then you want to make sure that you have your landing pages and sales funnel. So where are you driving this traffic to? And I know Monica talks about that as well in some of her videos, right? So where are we driving this traffic to? And are these pages optimized for conversions, or, right, what are we trying to get our customer to do? And last but not least, our email sequences. Are we nurturing our leads? Are we just trying to do a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, which doesn't really work, right? So we want to have all of these elements as part of our advertising strategy. So that's step number 1. And I'm going to go and break down basically each part of the advertising strategy. So number 1 was the offer, right? Or what are you selling for the S? So I pulled a few ads that I know their programs and businesses are doing very well. And just to show you an example of what your offer would be. So again, your offer is what you're selling or you're promoting. So it's a special promotion. So like this one, Insignia, right? They're doing up to 50% off. So that's a special seasonal promotion or offer, or a call to action that persuades your customer to take the next step in your sales funnel. So for example, these 2 ads are, the offer is promoting the masterclass. So even though we're not directly selling yet, I don't know if you see the difference. So, but what we are doing is we're promoting the masterclasses or the webinars, right, that we want people to show up to. So that would be the next step. So the call to action is get registered here for this one. And then we have Rachel Rogers does another ad, right, where this is a lead magnet. So she's promoting a lead magnet, which then takes that ideal avatar into a nurturing email sequence where she, I'm sure, has like the direct offer in there. So those are just examples, and you want to start thinking, okay, like what is the end goal and how is my front offer going to look like? So that's really, really important. From there, right, you also want to think about the A, right? SA. Who are my audiences? So choosing the right target audience is also going to make a difference whether your ads are successful or not. So start by asking yourself, who does my product or service best serve, right? So you might have customers already. So you don't really have to, kind of come up with this out of the air. You might already have customers, so you kind of know what they're interested in, right? What are their typical behaviors? Where do they live? Things like that, on their age range. Now, if you don't have customers yet, because it's a brand new business, then you can start with like your competitors, or who does a business that does something or sells something similar to you, right? And who are their customers? So you can go to their social media, check out who likes their posts, and then from there, gonna get an idea of your ideal target audiences. And I've also put some examples here, right? So ideally, you want your audience to be around 200K to 2 million people. And that's a more technical, quick tidbit. But an example of your audience could be women 25 to 50 in the US who are into beauty and wellness, right? That's kind of broad, but you could also do women and men 25 to 55 in New York, Miami, LA, that are business owners with high household income. If your service is, $5,000 offer, interested in weight training. So those are just examples of audiences. In addition, when you're using Facebook ads and most ad platforms, you're able to really, really get more granular on demographic, interest, and behavior targeting parameters. So you can not only do the basic age, location, right? But you can also select, okay, my ideal clients are typically really into fitness, or typically they're into yoga, or typically they travel a lot, things like that. And you can kind of start, I see you got a question. You can start stacking that. Go ahead.
Absolutely. And this is the one that, at least when I'm running into like working with clients to do marketing, this is the one that people have a difficult time with. Yes, the slide before with the demographics, people have some issues with that, and they typically say who your product is for? People from 18 to 99. I'm like, okay, well, no, that doesn't work. We have to narrow it down. So getting that narrowed down is typically a little easier, but when it comes to the target audiences, if you're saying that your target audience likes Gucci and they like, luxury cars and they like Mercedes Benz, they like all this luxury stuff, but then you say, I don't want to charge for my thing, I want it to be free. Well, that doesn't really match up. And so that's something that we have to make sure that we're aware of, because we want to match what our offer is to who we're offering it to. And if we know the people, then we can offer it correctly. That's one cool thing that Belinda kind of talked a little bit about with her in her class, as far as figuring out that vision and vision mapping. And then Kanisha talked about a little bit with hospitality, how you wanted to look, how do you want them to feel? And so those things, they match and they go together. And I think this is really good because it's thinking about what they're interested in. And if they're interested in luxury brands, they're not really looking for discount 5-finger free product.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. That $20 offer is not going to resonate with them, because they might equate that with the value and say, you know what, I'm really looking for a huge transformation here. And I don't think $20 makes sense with what I'm looking for. Just kind of like, when you go into Nordstrom's, right? Like the prices kind of go with the vibe of Nordstrom's. And so it's the same online. Valid point. So after you figured out, okay, these are my ideal avatars, there's so many synonymous words, customers, target audience, and you do the market research and you figure out, okay, these are, I think, the people that will most likely benefit, right, from my product or service and that I want to serve. Then that's when you can really come up with your ad creative and ad copy, something that will resonate with your offer. So what am I selling or promoting, as well as my target audience. So it's important to do it in that step, right? Because then once you know, okay, I'm going to be targeting these people, you can design your images or videos with that particular audience in mind. I've also included more tactical tips and strategies. So to design your images and your videos. So number one, include an image or video with your ad that's relevant to what you have to offer, right? So if you're selling coffee, don't have like tea bags. I mean, that's like a silly example, but it just make it make sense, okay? You want to use engaging images or videos, also colors that pop. Usually, I don't know if you've noticed, but if you can, if it's a product that you're promoting, or even if it's a video, make it pop. It tends to grab more attention. Canva is great to do ads, whether it's a video template or images. So you can start there. They already have templates that you can use, or hire a freelancer on Upwork. And then you want to make sure that on the actual graphic, you have minimal words. And I'll show you the next slide so you can kind of have an idea of what I mean by that, but under 10 words. Because those ads that have, it's a book and you don't even know, you just scroll past it because there's just too much text on it. It looks very flyer-esque. You don't want to do that.
And that's really cool because literally in our vision mapping class that we literally just had 2 sessions ago, if you missed it, go back and check it out. Like she was saying all these neat visuals that you can create to kind of get clear
Perfect.
on your stuff. And I was like, yes, this is exactly what I was taught in my coaching classes. This is what I was taught when I'm trying to go through stuff with my clients, but I'm just writing words and I'm just writing lines of words. And yes, it can be overwhelming and daunting, but when you put that visual with it,
right.
you use the visual in place of all the words, it can speak and resonate so much easier. So that's good.
Exactly. It can speak for itself, you know? And then your ad copy, you want to start not all the time, but this is a good, if you're just starting out, starting with the question and using the word you is always an easy place to start. And then talk specifically about your offer. And you want to usually, I mean, long form or short form, that's something that you can test, but usually short and to the point, in my experience, works the best. So I wanted to screenshot this template because if you are really brand new and green and you don't know where to start, this kind of gives you a good outline of how you may want to write your ad copy. Right. So you figured out your target audience and then you identify the problem, the solution, what you're offering. You want to add urgency. So for example, like seats are limited, things like that, and scarcity. Maybe you only have 100 available spots, right? Or 10. Definitely call to action, social proof. And there's urgency again. Now, this is an example, a template. You don't have to include every single line item if it doesn't make sense, right? Sometimes, depending on what your service or product is, it doesn't make sense, but this is a good starting place. And then these are ads that I ran for myself that were very successful. And as you can see, they're very simple. It's nothing crazy, but it just has the title. It has my call to action, learn from an expert, right? Which is a benefit. And then I wanted to also show you the ad copy that I use. So this is the ad creative, and then there's the ad copy, where I'm just promoting a free Facebook ads workshop that I was doing. And then again, we have the call to action. We have spots are limited, right? Scarcity, urgency, and you can use headlines as well to like emphasize your call to action. So register to save your seat. And of course, the solution, right? Learn 3 keys to help you increase your sales. So, and the problem is I'm looking to grow my sales. So I'm addressing all those line items and points. And so that's the best way to start, really. And then from there, right, you can test and see what ads perform best. How's the chat looking? Are we good?
Everybody looks like they are locked in. Everybody like, yes, locked in. You making all the sense. Keep going, don't stop.
All right. That's always a good thing.
Right.
So last, but certainly not least, we have the last 2 parts of your advertising strategy. So the landing pages and sales funnel, right? So again, where are you driving traffic to? So if I'm promoting a webinar, I'm going to take them to a page, an opt-in page where they can register for it. If I'm selling a product, I'm going to drive traffic to that product page, or maybe it's a bundle page where I want people to check out. Now, if I'm doing a lead generation campaign, I may be driving people to a form. So I just want people to fill out the form and then they're going to get the information after the fact, right? So, and I'm sure you've signed up for things like that. So that is the landing page sales funnel part of the sale system. And then last but not least is your email sequences. So you want to capture their email, right, through your ads. And then you want to be able to nurture your leads. So you want to be able to, talk about yourself, like describe who you are, your products and services, and basically nurture that relationship with your potential clients or customers so that they do end up converting. And there's a bunch of nuances to this, but I would say that is the main framework to your advertising strategy. So a pro tip is definitely put aside 1 to 2 hours if you can to brainstorm and map out your sales system. I personally like to do it on paper because I feel like it's less distraction, right? You're not like tempted to randomly go on your Instagram or go here, go there, and just map out like what that is going to look like. And then from there, you can, of course, put it in a document. But definitely take some time to I feel like sometimes we don't set aside time to think and brainstorm. I don't know if it's just me, but like we need that headspace sometimes to like breathe and get in that zone where it's not just I'm executing on everything. Like I'm taking time to like think about this strategically. And that's a different part of your brain. So
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. It's literally like we were talking about in our last session, it's the working on your business and not working in your business. Because many
right,
times you get so consumed with the inner workings of it, then it's
right,
like, well, sometimes we need to step back and look at the overarching business. What's the direction we wanted to go? Where are we trying to head to? So that
exactly.
we can better work in the business. Or even, I think I did a post about it just yesterday. It's the
Right.
taking the time to stop and sharpen your axe instead
Mm,
of just keep chopping the tree. I'm just gonna keep
yeah,
chopping the tree, chopping it. Like if you would stop and sharpen your axe, you can get there a little faster.
exactly. That could not hold more true with ads. Like because the amount of people that just are like, let me just launch this ad and then they're like, it didn't work. I'm like, well, did you think it through? Did you think about, okay, where I want to drive traffic to? What's my offer? Like, what email sequences am I going to use? They're like, no, well,
Just stood up there. So, all right, let's try it again.
right, just start up.
It's the money left and right.
Right. So don't do that. Okay. Um, Key number 2, figure out what types of ad strategy you need to run based on your goals and season of business. So we've touched on this a little bit going through the sales strategy, but I also want to emphasize that there are different types of ad strategies or types of ads that you can run based on your budget, right? Based on how long you've been in business for and really what you're trying to achieve. So if your goal is really more brand awareness because you don't have a lot of followers, on social media yet, nobody really knows where you are, you haven't made a name for yourself, and you're brand new, then you may want to spend $50 a month or something, pretty conservative to run brand awareness or engagement ads. And then from there, you can like later on, let's say a month or 2 from now, you could run a campaign where you're retargeting people who watch, let's say 25% of those brand awareness ads, right? With your offer. So that would be a strategic way to do that. If you're like, I'm not ready to spend X amount, like a lot of money in ads yet. But I want to start getting that traction. This is a great way to do it. And it's very, very inexpensive. And it definitely is a long-term play, right? But again, if you're just starting out, why not start playing the game early by doing this very, very strategically with video ads that then you can retarget to with your offer when you're ready to spend more money, So definitely a pro tip there. Also freebie or opt-in ad. So we saw an example of that, right, where Rachel Rodgers was promoting her lead magnet. And then she takes you kind of like an email sequence where she does give the offer, whatever that, I'm not sure what that is, but that's the sales funnel. So that's another way that you can do it. You can, and it usually works well when your offer is under $1,000, right? And you upsell them via the email sequence. Webinar ads. That's another type of advertising strategy where you would run an ad, and we saw that our masterclass workshop, again, all the same thing. And typically that works best when your offer is over $1,000, because you need to take a little bit more time. It just makes sense, right? The more expensive it is, the more time that person wants to really get to know you, and you have to build that trust so that they can overcome any objections that they may have or hesitations and be like, okay, yes, I think you're the person to help me with this problem, and I trust you and I like you as well. Because sometimes it's like there's 50,000 people that do the same thing, right? But it's like, but I like this person's or this company's approach better. And so the only way to know that is to make sure as the business that you are really educating your potential customers, right? And you can do that with a webinar, but you need people to show up at the webinar. And so sometimes, yes, we always want to do organic. I'm a big proponent of always doing organic and paid if you can, right? Not one or the other. They both work really well together. But if you can only do so much with your social media organic posts, and you want more people to show up, then ads is a great way to get in front of your ideal customers, right? People that you might not be able to get in front of otherwise. So that's another ad strategy. Conversion sale ads. So that is another ad strategy that is when you're really just directly promoting your offer and asking people to buy stuff. I mean, that's pretty much what it is, right? And so these have their place and they can work very well. Once you've kind of either with retargeting ads, right? So your conversion ads could be a retargeting ad to people who have interacted with you in some kind of way. Like they've gone to your website, they've gone to your social media, they've seen your other video ads. So that ad strategy works well once you've kind of done that pre-work to make sure that people know who you are and are familiar with your products or services.
I guess it kind of reminds me of like, I don't know if you watch Good Times, but back in the day on Good Times, there was this man named Lenny, and he was like a homeless guy, but he wore a trench coat. And he would open up the coat and he was naked under the coat. But he was like, hey, my name is Lenny and I got plenty and I'm selling everything. What you need? And he had all these little pockets. I think it was also a guy like that on Hitchcock from a black and white show. But it was a guy that had all these pockets in it. So if you're just running your conversion or your sales ad to a wide audience that has never heard of you, know nothing about you, never ever been to your account, they are not aware of you at all, and you like, hey, my name is Linda and I got plenty, come by. They were like, I don't want that.
Right. Like, I don't know you.
I'm gonna keep scrolling, right? So it doesn't matter how pretty it is or how cute it is. It's not to say that it won't convert, but it's going to be a very, very, very low conversion rate, or you're going to have to spend a whole heap of money to make it convert. But if you warm the people up first and they know who you are, they've opted in, they've seen some of your videos, they're aware of you, then they're going to be more likely to be like, okay, let me get them some money.
Exactly. And there's a way that like all these like Facebook and any advertising platform, you can put your pixel or a piece of code so they know, oh, this person subscribed to the newsletter, right? Or this person has gone to your website. So all of that is trackable. So that's why you're able to do that. So yes. So those are really like the 5, I would say, common types, most common that are utilized when you're starting out and running ads. Now, some takeaways: you want to focus on one ad strategy at a time. I want to emphasize that when you're starting out, just do one funnel, one strategy at a time, right? You want to test that out first because it's a lot of moving pieces. And then from there, you can kind of grow and do more. Start where you are, and don't worry also about fancy tech. There's a time and place for everything. So, and I say that because sometimes with webinars, right, people are a little intimidated with like, especially the funnel where everything's automated. And you don't have to do that. You could just do a live workshop or a live Zoom, a live webinar. And then once you do it once and you record it, you can kind of get to all the fancy automated stuff. But again, you start where you are and then you build from there. This is my favorite part because I can say that this is probably my most frequently asked question. How much should I spend on my ads to start? Okay. Key number 3, figure out your minimum viable budget. So that's really the answer to that. So where you want to start is I've come up with what I call my simple budget allocation calculator for the MVB, minimum viable budget, MVB. And it's very simple. You want to start with $5 per ad per day. Okay. So what does that look like? So let's do a little exercise and do some math. So it's best practice, right, to have at least 2 to 3 ad variations when you're launching your ads and test at least 2 audiences. So ad variations, what I mean by that is like 2 different ads. So maybe one, you have ad A where it's a picture of yourself and ad B is a video. So those would be 2 different ads. And then 2 different audiences would mean like maybe one audience you're targeting fitness enthusiasts, and then the other audience you're targeting, I can't think of anything.
Dog walkers.
Yes, thank you.
Everybody.
Yes, like animal lovers, because you sell training on how to train your dog, because people need that. Because dogs sometimes don't know how to act. So you do a training program for animals. That's actually a really good idea. I don't know if that exists. It probably does, but anyways, so you're with me. You got 2 ad variations. We got 2 audiences. Okay. So if you decide to run 2 ad variations, your minimum viable budget MVB would be $5. Remember I said $5 per ad per day. So you got $5 times 2. That's $10 per day per audience as well. So I wish I had taken a picture of the platform, but the audiences are also technically a different ad. It's the same ad, but under a different audience, if that makes sense. So in that case, that would be, because we're doing 2 different audiences, right? It would be $20. So $10 per ad per day times 2 audiences, $20. So let's say I run a 15-day campaign, which is about 2 weeks. That means that my budget is going to be $300. Okay. So you can run ads where you are at any stage of your business. It's just your budget is going to be smaller and you might want to do a shorter time frame campaign instead of running it for a month, right? You do it for 2 weeks. Now I know what you're going to ask me. You're going to ask, well, what if I just want to run 1 ad and 1 audience? Right? Because I get that question too. You can do that. So, however, my recommendation, if you can, is to start out with 2 ad variations and 2 audiences. Because here's the thing, how are you going to know what works? How do you know if this audience or that audience works better, or this ad or that ad works better, if you're only doing one thing? Like, you're not going to know. You would have to kind of run your test for like 2 weeks and then run your other ad and your other audience next, which is, you could do that, but I always recommend doing it together. And also you want to fail fast, meaning I want to figure out what works for me as soon as possible. I don't want to figure out next year because I'm, doing this very slow. But this approach makes it super accessible, and it's definitely affordable.
Yeah, I have a girlfriend who started, she was, working full time and she wanted to work from home. And that's
Yeah.
literally what she did. She said, okay, I'm starting this business. I want to work from home, but I can't. She had 5 kids and she married. So she can't just quit and come on home. She had to get her stuff together. So she got clear on all her stuff. And she said, okay, great. I think she got like $500 together, saved together $500. She ran an ad for $500.
Right.
And then she built an audience of well over 1,000 people. And now I think I checked her. So this is maybe 2 years ago. So
Yeah.
she was able to run an ad to the 1,000 people, to get 1,000 people, right? And once she had 1,000 people, she offered like a $27 class, master class on something. I forgot what it was, but the people paid. She was able to get conversions. They paid for the candidate. She set it up and said, we're going to do this every month or every so many weeks. And she was able to drive in that immediate, because she now has the traffic and she has the bought in audience. And so she was able to quit her job. I checked her page the other day. She has like 5,000 subscribers.
Damn.
And with her, right. So she got her 5,000 subscribers, and she can put something up and say, hey guys, we're offering this now. Hey, we're offering this. Remember what I was saying in the session that we did first this morning at 11, we were talking about the things that need to be in a campaign. So every campaign needs time to nudging, time to pitch. Well, the warmer your audience is, you don't need to have as much lead time. You can kind of say, you can be Beyonce and be like, boom, it's midnight. I'm dropping an album and it's midnight. I'm just dropping right now. And everybody gonna buy it. There was no lead up because they knew it. And so I think that's a valuable, if you're wanting to grow fast, to invest the money into the ads, get clear on all your stuff, and then invest the money in the ads. So you can hurry up with the audience and hurry up and get your money to come right back based, from what they're buying. So that's perfect.
Love that. Great example of the sales funnel, of using the ads, the brand awareness, engagement, masterclass ads. I'm assuming she might have done. So that's awesome.
Yep.
All right, let's recap. So what did we learn today? Hopefully. The first thing you want to do when you're running your ads, right? You want to start with mapping out the 5 elements of your ad strategy. The sale system. What are you selling? Your audience, ad copy and ad creative, landing pages, sales funnel, email sequences. What does that look like? Set aside time, brainstorm, write it all out. If you must, use the computer. Key number 2, figure out which ad strategy is best for you right now based on your goals and your budget. So you want to make sure that, if you are brand new, right, and you need brand awareness, you can run brand awareness ads. And last but not least, figure out what your budget, and you want to use, you can use my simple budget allocation calculator. So you want to make sure that you're spending at least the MVB, minimum viable budget, because any lower than that, at that point, you might as well wait. You might as well. And this is, again, to your point, Monica, where it's like, let's focus on getting clarity and getting these building blocks together first, and then run the ads, right? Like, especially if I don't have enough revenue coming in where I can't meet the minimum viable budget, then at that point, it's better to just focus on those other foundational pieces and then run the ads. So once you implement these principles, you'll be on your way to creating consistent leads and sales for your business.
Listen, that was good. That was good.
I can share my freebie if you want. I have a slide on it.
Oh, yes. So on the, and that's the link that you shared with me earlier, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So you can copy the link from her slide that she has there, but you can also go to the link that's in the description for the session, and it has, you go to bonuses, and it's in the middle. You click on bonuses and you'll be able to find her and select her and get her free download. She said it's the first link. So you'll be able to grab that and make it do what it do. I'm checking to see if anybody has any questions. And looks like there's no questions. Everybody's saying so good, love it, keep it going. So it seems like it was very clear. I do have a question.
Yes.
So from a standpoint of someone who, because as business owners, we don't need to be proficient in everything. We don't need to run and do everything. We do need to be aware, right? But not
Right.
like I need to do all the things. What's something, how much input from the client, if someone comes to you and say, hey, I need you to run some ads, how much input from the client is needed in order for you to do your part? Like, do you want them to say, okay, I need you to target Susie May and she do this and she like to walk dogs, or I want you to spend $5 a day. I want you to run 3 ads. Like, how much do you want them to, how much is acceptable for them to give, as opposed to you just saying, okay, I got this, just get away.
Right. I usually do the second. Because I got this, not go away, but like
Right.
basically the whole sales system that I go through is what I usually, when I work with a one-on-one client, I would put that together. And then the input that I need more so is like, who are your current clients? Like, who do you think that will be best, like will resonate best with like your offer based on like your data that you have. So I try to gather more so like where they are right now, like information on that and where they want to be. So what are their revenue goals, right? So if they're like, hey, I want to make 10,000 more a month using ads, then realistically, and that's in the freebie, we use the sales profit calculator and we kind of assess based on the cost of advertising, right? Like a cost per lead based on your conversion rates. If you know that information, if not, we can assume that it'll be 1% or less. How much would you be willing to, how much do you need to spend to get to that 10,000 a month? So we kind of go over all those things together. But I usually take the lead if it's, a one-on-one on all that stuff.
And no, and that makes complete sense, because it's a matter of you're being the expert in it, so you know what's going to work, or you have a better idea of what's going to work than what someone who never runs ads or never have run ads would know. And so to have that micromanagement, I would imagine, could drive you nuts.
Right.
But at the same time, the business owner does need to be aware of the concept. They need to be aware of the terms and have some familiarity with it. So this session has got you to a place of saying, oh, I might be closer to running an ad than I think.
Right.
You have a question or two. How do we know if someone is trying to scam us? When we hire them to run ads, how do you check for their receipts?
Oh, yes. Okay, I love that question. Thank you for asking, whoever asked. So the first thing you want to do is check their credentials. So I would look up the company on LinkedIn and look up the person on LinkedIn that's, trying to sell you the service and see like, where is their work experience? Like, have they worked with other brands? Have they worked with other businesses? Do they actually have tangible work experience? Not to say that you have to have worked for other companies, although that certainly helps, right? When the person has worked for agencies and corporations doing digital advertising, okay, like they've actually done the work. But you wanna do your due diligence and check the companies or that person's experience. I think that's really overlooked, and I would definitely start there.
And now, what are some of the things when you're checking for and I know this seems kind of funky, but when you're checking for their experience, I mean, anybody can write anything. So are you looking for screenshots of analytics, or like, what are you looking for?
I know I wrote it down because I was like, I can't forget this. Also, ask for case studies. So what other company have you helped in my industry? What were the results, and do you have a case study? So ask them to speak on it.
Mhm.
Yes, like case studies, all that information can all be faked. I mean, that's just the reality. There's a lot of bro marketers, those guru marketers that's what they do. They just scam them. But it's also, I feel like, getting on the phone with that person, right? If they can really walk you through the strategy, ask for the strategy. What was the strategy? And maybe not, I mean, they might not give you that for free, but maybe ask them to walk you through an example of like their process, right? Like, what's your process when I work with you? Like, how do you typically onboard your clients? They should be able to answer that easily. What are typical conversion rates that you've seen for my industry? Because I can tell you, like, I pre-qualify anybody that works for me. And more often than not, when people come to me, they may not be ready for ads. And I'm very transparent about it. And I go through the sales profit. I'm sorry, I'm like, what am I saying? There's the MVB method, right? So figure out your minimum viable budget. But if someone comes to me and they're like, oh, I want to make $10,000 a month, based on their conversion rates and the data points that they give me, I can also let them know, hey, this is feasible or it's not feasible. So that's another way to identify, like, is this person just telling me a dream and it's not even realistic, or is this within like reason? So if they're promising you like 5x on your ads when you're starting out, that may not be true, because the reality is you may be breaking even the first 3 months. So another thing is, if people guarantee you results by X date, by X amount, I would be careful of that, because advertising is dependent on a lot of things. And I don't guarantee anything, because just like life, nothing's guaranteed. There's a lot of factors. So we have target results that we want to achieve and target KPIs that we work towards. And of course, we do everything we can, right? Client and me, to make sure that we achieve that. But I don't guarantee it by X date, by X, you know what I mean? That sucks. If someone says that, I definitely would be suspicious.
Yeah. And that's the crazy part about it, because even the industry average and the conversion rates that we have seen and that are out and about, they're just that. They're an average. They're not, It's not a guarantee. It's not definite. Not to mention, you may need to change, because when you're running those analytics and looking at the reports, you may need to change your landing page. The image may not be working. The copy may not be working. And if you as the business owner can't quickly make that adjustment to those pages, then it's going to hinder the ad, because the ad could be the best thing since sliced bread. I remember when I started doing marketing, the only thing that I would guarantee is I can get you in front of 10,000 people. That ain't nothing. I can't make sure people gonna buy your stuff and sign up, because your packaging might be crap. They might not like your songs, it's a lot of things that they have to like in order to follow through and make the purchase. But it goes back to the type of ad you're running and the mindset that you're in. So if you're running these awareness ads in the beginning and kind of warming everybody up, the old saying, when you meet somebody back in the day, when you was meeting people, if you went to a bar or you was at a club, you didn't just be like, ooh, I see him, I'm finna marry him, we gonna have 10 babies, let's go. Hey, you want to get married? Let's have babies. No, it was, okay, I see him across the room, I see him drinking his drink, I see him dancing, he seemed nice, okay, look how he talked to his sister, okay, I wonder. And so it was this whole awareness that you had of him or her, right? And you made yourself familiar before you approached and said, hey, let's go on a date. Not get married, but let's just go on a date. Let's just see.
Exactly. There's the dating, the courting, the getting to know each other, the learning phase. You know what I mean? It's a lot to it. There's a lot of factors that could go wrong. Outside influences, your friends.
Exactly. And it's the same thing when it comes to running your ads, because it's a company that I know they run ads on a regular basis. And then they have they have a membership or something that they open twice a month or twice a year. And she went to open her membership and she was doing her big to do. And at the time, it was like on the heels, it was either right before the election or right after the election. And the
Right.
ad rates were like crazy. So she couldn't spend as much ad dollars as she had before, because now the ads are $1,000 per click as opposed to $2 per click. Well, she had no way of knowing that that was going to be that absorbent. So she couldn't make the return. She couldn't heavily rely on the ads to drive everything.
Exactly. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, right now, actually, I was reading, I forget where, but year over year, people are spending less right now on Facebook ads. So typically that's a good thing, because that means it's a little bit cheaper, because the demand is lower. So if anything, right now is a good time. But everything is fluctuating so like up and down because of the current like economic situation. But the last I read, which was like a week ago, people are not spending as much, and people, I mean like businesses. And so that's usually a good opportunity for when you're starting, because then you have more room. It's a bigger margin of error. Like when ads are very, very expensive, which I mean, they are now a lot more than they used to be. It doesn't give you a lot of margin of error. So it's like you either this works or it doesn't, and you have to kind of figure that out quickly.
Yeah, and that's definitely a good point. I saw that earlier this week myself, that businesses aren't running ads as much as they used to. So this would be a great time to start, if you haven't ran any ads recently, to start some awareness and kind of waking people up to get, to get familiar with you, so that you can start just build an audience. Because I mean, like I was saying about the lady before, she built that audience, had 1,000 people. Well, she doesn't really run ads anymore now, because she has a highly engaged audience of 3,500 women. That's what she's talking to, women. So they're highly engaged. I went to her Facebook page, and she has she puts up one-liners every day, and there's tons of responses. There's tons of, she's not designing, she barely designed a graphic for it or whatever, because they're now connected to her. Every now and then she posts a picture of her kids or whatever, but she built the audience in the beginning and made them aware of who she was. And now they see her as the go-to person, the industry standing. So do you have any final words? I see Cam said, love this. Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. So good. So do you have any final words for us before we wrap up the summit? Because this is the last day, and I want to make sure everyone gets everything that you have to say.
My last word of advice would just be, make sure that when you're running your ads, no matter what type it is, whether it's brand awareness, engagement, conversion ads, retargeting ads, webinar ads, any kind of ad that you're running, you want to make sure that you do it from Ads Manager. So don't do it from your phone. Don't do a boosted post from your phone. Just don't do it. Don't do it from Ad Center, which is another place that it's kind of like, I don't know, a beginner interface type of situation that they have going on. Don't do it there. Just make sure that you're running your ads from Ads Manager, because then you'll really have all the targeting capabilities. That's like one of the biggest differences, as well as like there's so much more analytics. And that is where you want to run your ads from to get like the best results. So to be able to grow your audience, get more leads, get more sales, that's really where you're going to see the results. And they make that very confusing. And so I like to always tell my people, you know what's up. So Ads Manager, Business Manager, go there. That's it.
I mean, that is definitely a good point. And if you can't figure out how to get to it, if you're like me, just Google Facebook Ads Manager, and it typically takes you right to that page, because it seems like, to me, it feels like it's always moving, but I know I don't want to.
You don't, it's not a feeling. It's like they change where stuff is all the time. So
I was like, I know I don't run as many ads as Natasha do, but doggone, I can't find it. It was here a minute ago. And I be trying to bookmark. No, it's gone.
I know my clients always, they're like, Natasha, like, can you, I'm like, please bookmark this tab, because I'm telling you, like, it's hard to find. So,
exactly. Well, I want to say officially, thank you so much for taking this time to teach us and walk us through
Yes.
all of the good information about this, because it's certainly needed. And what we're going to do is we're going to take all these videos. They're going to be added to the Marketing Solutions Laboratory.